Okay, welcome to the stream here. It's 10 in the morning. Oh, let me turn my phone off. I need to figure out how to overlay chat while I'm streaming. I'm gonna have to figure that out later. So I worked through the whole weekend. It's very busy, doing all kinds of stuff um, for modeling for clients. I was doing some helpful videos. Did like 5 of them on Saturday. So I'm happy to get back to the PaaS model. I took a break last week after I think Wednesday, and we got a lot to do on this, and it's turned into an awesome model. Before I get started, remember, check out more financial models at smarthelping.com. If you look here, we've got all kinds of things, hundreds of different templates for all kinds of different businesses. You can buy everything on the site for $9.99 or buy individually or by category. Also, where's the Twitter? Let's get the Twitter link set here. Set here. Okay. And remember, you can also subscribe to the live stream. Yes, for five, I think it's $4.99 a month. YouTube.com/smarthelping/join. That helps support the stream. And I've got 3 members in there. They've been there for about 10 months now. Thanks, guys, a lot. But I haven't really promoted to join the live stream. I mainly try to promote the site, but I figure, some people just might want to support the stream, and that's it. So you can do that there. So to get into the model here, we have product as a service. What that means is you have a product offering. You're not selling the products, you're selling access to the products, hence product as a service. People pay you a monthly subscription and you allow them to use the products. It's a little bit like renting, but not quite. Um, it's a shift focus from uh, the benefits of the product to now instead of that you're saying here's the benefit, here's what the product will do for you, rather than here's, like, I'm not going to talk about the features of the product necessarily. I'm going to talk about the benefit you can get every month by buying a subscription to the product. So this has been in research and literature for, since the early 90s. It got popular in the last couple of years because people are starting to apply this type of business model to different things. In general, it's just a nice model, I think, to have. It'll be useful for, in the long term for all kinds of businesses, the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So I think a template is good to have. Now, what we've done so far is mainly focused on the build out. So I've got up to 176 purchase tranches. So you got to buy the products that you're going to give access to here. I put logic so you can put the month each tranche of products is purchased or built or manufactured, the count built or manufactured, the cost per unit, total cost, useful life, which will all be dynamic, and we'll get into capacity here real quick. So this useful life is going to say how long the product is able to be used for, the maximum minutes a unit can be used for per month, and this is where we get our constraints. And then we have maximum minutes per tranche per month based on the total units in the tranche. And now, based on the customers we think we're going to acquire over time, and I've put a couple, organic and paid ads to sales channels. And based on this growth, we have customers, 3 tiers of customers that join, and and we have the amount of minutes we think they're going to use whatever they're buying a subscription for per month, and we can compare that based on the total customer count to the available capacity based on what's been built or purchased. And we have this nice comparison tool here, and this is where I left off last week. Is this shows you the percentage of the maximum capacity you are fulfilling here. So if it's over 100%, that means there's too many customers for what you have available, and if it's under 100%, well, that could possibly mean you don't want to be at like 10%. That means you've spent too much money on products and you're not going to have enough customers. But you're never going to be perfect. I think a good number here is probably, I'd say, 70 to 85%. But again, the point of it is to make sure your model makes sense and you're not like having a million subscribers to like 10 products. That's not obviously feasible. So this keeps you in check, and this will update as you change the purchases here. If I were to put, say, 10 up front, I'm going to have a lot more capacity, so this will go down the percentage used. Watch this. So you can see those numbers all just went way down. So I built all this stuff dynamically last week, and we're going to continue on. I'm really excited to get this model finished. I think it's really helpful. Um, so we're gonna go far. We're gonna go for a while today. Uh, and I'm just catching myself up on what this is doing, so I know where I'm at. So we have start month, we have all the customer stuff, churn. We're assuming the customer cohorts that are joining all have the same retention rate, whatever that might be. Essentially, the average time you think customers will keep using whatever product offering you have. So this, let's see, where are we? So we got any customer accounts here. We have the subscription revenue from, they're going to be paying money to use the products, and product usage. So this is where we're pulling over to the other model. And then we have unit production, the cost, which is going to be important to measure against how much money we're making on the monthly fees. So you can see all this makes sense together. Like, how much am I paying to get this product offering out? How much am I receiving from customers? And, how feasible is this? And it's all based on minutes used per month. I don't know what other very broad metric would be useful. So I landed on just minute usage. That seems to make the most sense. It would fit the most amount of cases. Uh, oh, I know what I wanted to do next. So we have revenue from subscription. I was talking to one guy that's been in the industry a while, and he's actually why I had the idea to build this. And he was saying these companies that do this will offer oftentimes the ability to also just buy the products. So what I want to do here is copy this build out, and I want to put direct sales. So we're also going to have a way where we don't need any of this stuff for this. It's just going to be a simple, we don't need much of this. It's going to be a simple, how much did I produce and what did I sell it for? So we can have, this will be inventory. On this build out, these hit fixed assets. We're not reselling them. Direct sales, the products we build or buy here to resell are going to hit inventory. So two different places on the financial statements. So the month purchased, the unit count purchased. Let's say you buy 30. Let's say this is going to be a higher volume, more likely. Let's say you buy 10 every other month and you're selling them. So I can do logic for percentage of or percentage of supply sold per month. So of a given cohort built, so here I did 10. I can put how long does it take me to sell those 10 in months. So just a little bit of a dynamic nature to forecast potential sales and also to show inventory over time. So we'll have two revenue streams. We'll have product as a service revenue. We'll also have just direct sales of the product. And they're not connected at all. They're completely separate. And some analysis could be what's my IRR when I do direct sales versus doing product as a service. What's the financials look like in each case? Or what happens when there's a hybrid? So, oh wait, we've got 120 months maximum here. Whoop. Okay, so month number, percentages of supplies sold per month per cohort. And we'll put a note on this so it's clear. This represents the total sold of a given cohort produced bought. i.e., if you have 10 units in month 2, you can say X% of that is sold in 1 month, Y% in month 2, and so on. Or if you only make essentially just in time or what you have demand for in a given month, it would just be 100% in the first month. We could say maybe we sell these 10 units, we sell 60% in month 1, 20 in month 2. Oh, these all got to be formatted to percentages. And this should add up to 100, so you can go 60% of it, 20%, 20%. And this is a check for total sold of initial cohort. And who knows? I mean, the sales cycles could be different for all kinds of different situations. I mean, it could be, 5%, and it takes you 20 months to sell inventory, so you don't buy it that often. But whatever the case is, let's just put 50, 20, 20, and 5. And another 5. So there, I'm getting rid of inventory. It takes me about 5 months in this case. And it could be different again for every single product. It could be 100% in month 1. So simple, just manufacturing sales logic here. We're not going to do seasonality or anything. It's just I'm buying or manufacturing products. It costs me this much per unit. Total cost per cohort. And then we'll do a sales price. So this is much simpler than the recurring revenue portion. And we will have to do a little bit of a cohort analysis or matrix style here. Let's put a space in between this. So I need to also put in, let's see, matrix 3, I believe, because I can't just do unit production used for subscriptions. So this is that. And then we also will have and I might move this down later in the model, but we'll see. We have unit production, purchase, direct sales. So the first one is simple. It's just a sum ifs, and we want to take the total cost here. Sorry, we want F actually. If the month equals the month. Now in this, we're not really going to get what's going on here. Sum if direct sales F, if C, oh, whoops, E3 should not be locked. All right, so I have, now I'm trying to think what it makes, I don't believe, this is actually your cost. So when it hits inventory, or this is the cost of the inventory here and when it happens. We're not going to get fancy with schedules or dynamic purchase amounts. You can actually just define the month and the total cost will hit in that month. I don't believe, I'm trying to think if there's any reason why this needs to be offset. Also, let me pull this up so I can see what's going on here. Okay, let me save this. Definitely a little slower Monday morning. That's all right. We may hit the algorithms here. So I purchase this amount every month or produce, and this is my cost. I'm trying to think if we want to offset that at all. I guess you could technically just offset the cash with this because, or with this. So if you buy it here, you could technically say 0% sold in month 1, 2, 3, and then it'll just start in month 4 after this month. So I think this gives you plenty of dynamic nature to handle most situations. Okay, so that's fine. We'll have the purchases here. Then we'll need to also put in the resulting sales of these purchases. You know what? Let's put this kind of up here. I'm trying to think of what makes the most sense visually. If we put unit production for subscription above the subscription, that kind of makes sense. So we buy or purchase these things. We make this revenue off of that. Then we buy or produce these things, and then we make direct sales revenue off of that. All right, so that. Direct sales. There's just going to be one row. And I'm trying to make it pretty simple. It can be modified pretty easily off of this. All right, direct sales. So percentage sold per cohort. I definitely need a matrix here, and we're going to go with months across the top and going down. So we have this here. Now doing this kind of stuff again, people pay you thousands of dollars to do this kind of stuff. I do it all day, every day, basically. Let's go out to 120. Now I need to know the month of purchase and the age since purchased. So we simply say if this month here, well, no, hold on, how are we going to do this? We have the month going down and the unit count. Let's see, how do we want to do this? So if I go over summing based on this, it'll just be one row, or if I go, so going down, and this is actually probably something new I've never done. is we go down. So you have all these purchase tranches, potentially up to 176. And I just want to say if this date here equals the date here, then 1, otherwise 0. So there's my starting count number. And there was none purchased in month 1, but then I go over, and now I just do my count. So I can say if B2 is greater than 0, then B2 plus 1. Now that should work. So perfect. All right, so I have my schedule of the age of each purchase, and I need to know the age so I can figure out what percentage of that initial cohort of 50 in this case is sold over time based on this. So watch, here we go with our second one. Actually, we just do all this. So this is really important for inventory modeling. If you say, you don't want to just say, well, I think my sales are going to be this, and then back into inventory. We're going to say, here's what I'm buying, here's what's hitting inventory, and then here's how many months it takes or how much I sell of the initial amount in each subsequent month. And now I can say, look up this percentage here against the month that's going down and over. And match that against the month number. Now if it's 0, we just do if error. Right, so the point is we want to know the percentage of the total sold, and then we multiply that percentage by simply, and since this is the same positioning, we just multiply that by the count here. So there's my sales. Oh, shoot, did I not lock something? D4. Or, sorry, these are not percentages. We're going straight to the number. So this is the count sold. You can see if I highlight that, it equals 50, 25 sold there, 10, 10, 3, and 3. So I can see the total sales per cohort, and I'll just aggregate that over time. And there you have it. And it may seem a little cumbersome to do it, like why are we taking so much time to build out the assumptions like this? But it saves a ton of time for the user and also headaches when you're trying to figure out how to, change variables and stuff. This becomes super valuable. Total units sold. So we got units sold. Let's go back over here. Now, direct sales. Units sold per month and total revenue from direct sales. So now this calculation becomes very easy. I directly reference this. Sweet. And then total revenue. We can do, so we didn't set a price. Also, this is subscription, direct sales. Put this second. So yeah, I got to figure out, well, what am I actually charging for this? And I want to define a general margin off of the cost of goods sold. Or no, we'll do a sales price per unit. I think that's easier to define for people. And then we could just say resulting margin, resulting profit margin, or gross profit per unit. And let's say we sell it for 1,250 is the sales price here. Oh wait, there's no need to change this. It's just a single sales price. Well, hold on now. Let's move this over. No, we do need to make this so sales price per unit, because potentially maybe these are different units than these and these and these, so they have different sales prices, and we definitely want that ability to make it dynamic. So let's say you've got your sales price per unit and resulting margin. So the margin would be total sales minus cost. So that's your profit divided by this, and that's your resulting gross margin. Now it's the same for all these, but if I were to say maybe these cost $8.50 to produce, well, now my margin's lower unless these were selling for maybe $3,200. Now my margin's higher. So it's pretty basic math, but it gives a nice flexibility. So we go here. Well, actually, if that's going to be different, we have to go on the matrix and we have to do units sold. We have to actually define revenue rows for each of these. And that's going to be a simple multiplication, total units sold in each month per cohort times the sales price. Just double checking that. Okay, that looks good. All right, we're making progress here. So here's each sales revenue from each purchase cohort. Now the cohorts could happen. Let's see if this makes sense. Yeah, I could actually put the same month of all of these, like the first four, and you can see on the matrix, those will just then happen on month one. So they're all in month one starting, and that's fine. It's not mutually exclusive. Now, if I were to put month one, and then I could also adjust the, let's say none sold month in the first month of purchase, it takes a month, and then you sell maybe it takes 2 months, and then you can start selling. So in that case, you sell 3 months after you acquire, and it takes you 4 months to fully sell out. So you can see that logic here. So month 3 is when we start, and month 1 is when we purchase. So they've been purchased, they sit in inventory, sold. Now when they're sold, ooh, this could get a little tricky as well. So the amount, the cost of goods sold has to be dynamic. as well to reduce inventory. So we need to know cost of goods sold of each cohort. And for that, we simply say when it was sold, so total units sold times the cost per unit of, yes, cost per unit. So that we're not targeting the total cost of the cohort here because we want to know, because the units are being, decided here. So we take cost per unit times units sold in each month, and that's how much we're reducing inventory by. This is how much we're increasing inventory by. So increase in inventory, decrease in inventory, creating revenue based on the sales price. And that's going to be for the balance sheet. I need to know how much to decrease inventory by over time, and this will give me that answer. And you see that follows when things are sold. Now that cost of goods sold is actually going to be a non-cash item. When this hits the cost of goods sold, it's non-cash because the actual money that went out for this is happening. Where do we put that? Capacity, active units. Well, it's happening here. This is the actual cost. No, the subscription. This is the actual cost to build out each one. So that's the actual stuff that hits cash flow. This will be added back to cash flow and we'll then subtract out this number. Because we don't want to double subtract them because then you're double counting your costs. Okay, so we have revenue. Where's revenue? Up here. Then we have cost of goods sold and gross margin, direct sales. Again, I could have just left this out, but I thought it was prudent to the model to have a direct sales model as well built in. So here's cost of goods sold. And gross margin, revenue minus cost of goods sold. And GP percentage. Gross margin divided by top line revenue. It's perfect. Okay, there we have it. Now, question, why? Wait, what happened here? That looks fine. What happened here in month 25? We have no revenue, but we have cost of goods sold. Let's look here. So this looks right. Where did our revenue go? Oh, shoot. I never drug the top over. That would explain it. Let me go start from the beginning. Let's format this. Okay, so we have direct sales. That whole module is done. We have subscription revenue from the products. That whole module is done. We now do total revenue is this plus this. So you've got, well, let's break it up. Let's say here's subscription revenue and here's direct sales total revenue. So you can see it kind of all in one spot. Okay, so that's good. Let's think. Is there any other variable items we need to account for? We have that, cost of production, this cost. That's pretty good. Just thinking here, what else am I missing? Ah, let's start to do some formatting on this. So we want to say you have the ability to end the model at any point in the future, up to 10 years. And then based on that, this should stop is whenever that happens. So let's see, what's the highest level item we could stop? I don't know, actually. We'll just start from the top. So if this is greater than our exit month, zeroed out. And I know, again, it seems something that's kind of tedious, but it's really going to be annoying if the person wants to stop the model at 5 years or see what happens in 10 years. It's really annoying to have to go and try to manually figure that out. So having a nice switch to do that is really helpful. Uh, let's see, can we clear? I'm trying to think of the highest level I can do to just clear out anything after the end month. So let's try the ending customer count. Let's see what this does. Okay, does nothing. Just zeroes this out. What's pulling revenue? These bottom items. I guess we need to put this on each of these because if I do charts, we want the charts to stop as well on the end month. So we're going to have to apply this to all these here. Okay. Okay, so that's zero. Then that zeroes out revenue, usage. Apply this to that one. Okay. Units sold. Yep, all these have to have it. Okay, I think that would do it. That works. Okay, good. So we have a dynamic end month now for all those items. Let's put this back to the end. Make sure everything's went back. Perfect, perfect. Okay. So we have all our nice and neat revenue sources. We have some cost purchases there and we're moving along. So I guess now we need to account for potentially, your operating expenses. And Any So do we have any dynamic costs for the subscription, like cost to provide the service? I guess we have to figure out because we're buying the product or building the product. The customer comes to use the product. When they use it, are there any direct costs that we have to figure out? Like if it's washing machines, well, we'll have some utilities. I'm trying to think of anything that we could tie directly to the usage or the number of customers. The easiest way would probably be to say for every active customer we have right here, the consolidated customer account, they're going to cost you some amount of money per month. And that's just a variable input. And it could be involve all kinds of different stuff. I can also do on the fixed expenses, I can do some other costs directly as a percentage of subscription revenue, as well as option for direct percentage of direct sales, as well as just a direct percentage of total revenue. So try to do a catch-all to catch any other expenses that might be variable. So that sounds good to me. We'll put this on variable costs. And this is going to be just let's think how to do this. Expected cost per customer per month for each tier of subscription. And that doesn't need to change over time. So I'm saying on average, the customers that are using the products cost me whatever it is, let's say, and this is going to be a function of, they're paying how much? $4 a month, 10, 18. So that number's probably got to be below that or else you're going to be losing money. So let's just, based on that, let's just say it's a quarter of it. So 1, 250, and 450. So that's the first one. So where are we going to put these? We have the cost of goods sold for these direct sales here. And this will be well organized on the income statement, but I'm just trying to make it make sense here as well. So I can separate it. We can say here is cost of goods sold subscription, and it's just the total count of customers times, actually it's for each three variables. So customer count 1 times that, customer count 2 times 2, and customer count 3. And so we have variable costs. That's pretty dynamic. That gives you a lot of flexibility, and you don't have to guesstimate what it might be per year if you change your customer counts and all this other stuff. Okay, and these need to be locked. And there we have that variable cost. And we'll have gross profit subscriptions is this number here. I need to think about the formatting of this. What makes the most sense and is the cleanest. It's good that we have all the data in here nice and neat. We also need to do a gross profit margin on that. Oh, this is not subscription. We're going to update the label here. This is product usage. That, oh, this goes up here. Wait, gross profit. Ah, this one needs to come over too. Okay. I was like, what's going on here? So here's that. You can see this grows quite a bit over time. Now there's also no, this model is not assuming anything about facilities. So it just has purchase, build out of items. Here, we don't have any assumptions about, oh, we have a couple people in here. I didn't even realize. My phone just doesn't update. Dang it. Did I miss anybody saying anything? No, nobody said anything. Okay, stupid phone. Can you update, please? Thanks for joining, people who are here. I didn't even realize there was anybody. Try to refresh this. I need a second monitor so I can see. I mean, if it starts getting really busy, I'm gonna have to do something so I can see, at least see the overlay. Um, anyway, the problem is we have these products. We don't have the option of expanding out. Let's say as you build more products and you have more, you might have to, however people are paying you to access, you might have to expand and purchase facilities. Now we are going to have, actually that could probably be all captured in the CapEx schedule, and or the fixed asset. If you're renting a place, you could put it there, or if you're buying it and there's depreciation on a facility that you're using for people to come in, it could be accounted for there. And you just have to make sure that that matches your however many units you have active, which we have. This is total active units. And I want to make sure. So this, when does this get to 30? It's always good to sanity check as you're doing stuff. So that gets to 30 here in month 61. Okay, good. So that makes sense. Yeah, so those are your units. So you can say, well, I've got 30 units here. Do I need a second facility or not? Or am I going to have to? And that will have its own costs. And we can account for all that when we put in the CapEx schedule. So that's fine. All right, so we got customers here. Just thinking about the organization of this whole monthly detail. This is all basically one thing right here. This is all one section, and then this is the second part. Maybe make more of a space in between here. And then here's the total revenues. We can probably bring in the cost of goods sold under here, or maybe I just want to do like a summary or something so you can get a sense of what's happening. Let's put revenue and cost of goods sold maybe. And subscription. Because when you look up here, it's good to see all these different details and how things are being determined. But if you want a quick look, it's hard to pick out. So we want to put subscription, cost of goods sold, direct sales, cost of goods sold, almost like a summary within the detail. And so this is going to be that. This is going to be this. And now you can easily see, okay, here's my subscription revenue. Here's the cost of goods sold on that. Here's my direct sales. Here's the cost of goods sold on that. Okay, and then total cost of goods sold. You might have customer service reps that are directly servicing customers as part of the subscription. I'm not putting that in cost of goods sold. It's debatable, but it will be able to be accounted for when I put in the fixed cost schedule. Let's just go top and bottom border for these subtotals here. So that's one. This doesn't need to be shaded. Cost of goods sold, revenue, top and bottom. This could just be a regular bottom border. That's fine. And top and bottom here. Okay. Let's put direct sales. Make this big and bold so we can know what's going on. It's different. And then here is subscription PaaS. I just want to try to make the sections very clear. Like this is all one section. And I wonder, can I make this go long ways? Let's see, where's the text direction? I know I can do this somewhere. Cell, font, alignment. No, how do I do this? I haven't done this in so long. I want to just switch the direction so it goes top to bottom and put product as a service. And then on this one, I want to do direct sales. .26 in bold. Anybody out there? How do I can't remember how to change the direction of the font. I know it's possible. View. All right, we're looking it up on the phone because I got to figure this out and keep moving. Hold on. Getting ads for co-working space. I don't need that. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm looking up how to change. I literally have done this like 2 years ago and that was it. How to change text direction on Excel. This doesn't make sense. Select home orientation. Home orientation. I don't think I've ever seen that word in the ribbon ever. The vertical alignment box. Click the vertical alignment position that you want in the text direction box. Click the text orientation. Vertical alignment. Okay. It's just the bottom. No, we don't care about that. All right, we're gonna figure this out here. Let's see. Is it this orientation? Here we go. 90 degrees. And in the middle, perfect. Okay. So there's my product as a service. Here's my direct sales. So this makes it very clear what's going on in each section. Perfect. So again, we go right click the cell, format, cells, go to protection, or I'm gonna do a YouTube video on this. Go to alignment. Don't mess with any of this. You just change the text direction here. Put it to whatever you want, or you can do it by degrees here. Awesome. Now that looks, so is this all subscription PaaS? Let me make sure. So that is, yeah, that is all. Now here, actually, let's merge it. Let's start down one. Whoop. Okay, at least that's clear. Oh, this is consolidated. Actually, the direct sales are only this little portion right here. This is separate. All right, well, figured that out. Awesome. I don't even know if I should have my stupid phone up. It's not even telling me anything about the chat. Yeah, I mean, it's basically useless. All right, we're gonna get some overlay so I can see stuff without having to go back over to here and look. So we're gonna continue on here. So subscription section, direct sales section, total revenue and cost of goods sold, gross profit, GP margin, consolidated, or between the two. Now, when this gets really interesting is if somebody comes in here and actually applies their expected strategy to this, and then it gets really interesting. And I sometimes get to see that when people need custom work or need help with it, and I could plug in their stuff or help them, and then I get to see that, but it's not so common. All right. I drag all this over here. So you can see this subscription revenue really picks up. I'm trying to figure out if that even, yeah, I guess that's right. So we're doing 18. Oh my goodness. So this, look at this. I keep targeting product usage instead of subscription revenue. I'm gonna have to go through and check like every single formula. I was gonna say 99% margin didn't seem to make sense. Okay, that's more like it. 70, 75. Okay. So that makes sense. So there's those two. Direct sales, cost of goods sold, total cost of goods sold subscription, which is based on end user count for each type. That subscription revenue. I just need to make sure I'm referencing the right thing across here. Direct sales are going from the matrix tab that's here. Okay, that's good. Subscription revenue, pulling from subscription revenue now, direct sales. We'll have to do some sanity checks here. All right, gross profit. So what's nice is I can see gross profit for each revenue source as well as in consolidated. And all the gross profit should have the same formatting. Gross profit, gross profit, gross profit. Okay. Now where we'll see, again, these cost of goods sold are non-cash item. These will be added back and then we'll subtract out the actual purchases up here. Or no, these purchases happen. These purchases on direct sales are the actual cost, and then this cost of goods sold for direct sales here will be added back because this, you see here, 123.5 equals that as you go. So that's that. And yep, I know I only usually stream for an hour, and so we're falling off on the viewership a little bit, but that's okay. I want to keep going. So we have subscription PaaS, direct sales. Here's like a summary. I'm going to put actually summary of revenue and cost of goods sold. So here's your product as a service activity. Here's your direct sales activity. And the resulting gross profit. So now I believe we can move on to fixed costs. And I might move these over. Actually, we can pull that. I'll pull that from a recurring revenue model. Let's just pull it right from our enterprise SaaS. I believe that'll have everything I need. Other costs. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. We'll have to extend it for 10 years, but that's fine. And then we have costs per tier per month. This is what we just did, so I can actually use this instead. Perfect. All right, we want this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna extend this out. All of these. Data validations are going to be updated. Okay. And I know I missed the last one there. Okay. Start year's 2023. Now you can adjust these. You'll be able to change the start month on all these, the monthly cost in each of the years. And then these variable costs as a percentage of revenue, total revenue. And if you need it, it'd be like, I don't know if I want to natively put these as a percentage of, let's see, running costs. So here's where you'd put, like, if you had rent, if you needed to account for rent, admin costs, executive, sales teams, R&D, all that stuff. Fixed monthly cost. Spelling error, that happens. Okay. Like, I don't want to target the entire or each individual product as a service stream, but I think I have to, honestly. And then this wouldn't be relevant for direct sales. Yeah, I think we're going to have to, just to be, I mean, if only one of them isn't, the person that's using needs to be targeting both potential revenue streams as to figure out their cost. Well, they're going to be screwed, so we don't want that. So function of total direct sales revenue, and then this is going to be a function of total subscription revenue. And then these are just fixed cost per customer. Again, these are going to be, this is what this is. And I'm just going to move this over here. So this is a function of monthly, ending month subscription customers. So there's no reason to target direct sales for that. This we can delete. All right, let's update the reference here. Perfect. Now, we have to update this calculation, cost of goods sold, and this is now going to be times index running costs here. I believe E2 is the year reference. We'll see. Yes, it is. Okay. So that locks. So tier 1, this has got to be tier 2. And tier 3. Drag that over. Ah, this needs to go out for 10 years. Shoot, what is lock, or, okay, this. And this. One, two, three, four, 5. And we can lock here for freeze this. Operating expenses. Okay, so now that's going over perfect. So we're making 30,000 a month, costing 7,400 in subscription direct costs, and we also obviously had to buy the products, which that cost is up here. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Okay, well we got to put these in now. So direct sales, product as a service. I really like how this looks. Now we go 1, 2, operating costs or expenses. For this, I'm going to do a simple reference here. Now we've already implemented this, so we don't need to do that. We'll have to have all this other stuff in though. And we did that. Okay, and I want to use this for each of these sections. I like this, how this looks. So this is going to be, well, we'll do it after we finish this. So the formula, and so we don't have to do any updates to the initial index formula. We can start with here and then we'll remove the unused spaces. So VP marketing, match E2 with the date, year, and there's my monthly cost. I also need to check if the date is ahead or not. So if this is less than the start month of the cost, then 0. Okay, and also if this is less than that, that locks. And don't forget the end month in the format. I'm telling you what, this takes a lot of stamina to do this and make sure it's all accurate. It's a lot of stamina. If this is greater than end month here, we are going to 0 it out. I got a meeting at noon. Other than that, it should be fine. So we can drag this all the way over and all the way over here. So I got all the formulas in. Okay, what happened here? Let's check if E4 is greater than, so this has to lock C6, and if that's greater than, that can go down. That can go down. Okay, I think it was just that first one. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay. So we go over. And this is so I don't have to write the formula 4 different times for all the different cost sections. They're all in the right position by dragging this down. So all these are in the right position. So now I have all those in there. And now that they're in there, I can just go through and clear out the unused rows and put in totals for each section. So total sales and marketing costs. These will be light gray, bold, and we'll put here sales and marketing costs. This is a total of the above. Okay, and then these are all set. These are going to be, let me put a border around this. general and administrative costs. And these are going to be research and development costs. I kind of like the sidebars like this. You can let me know in a comment or whatever what you guys think, but I like it. So sales and marketing, and then this is general and administrative. And this is R&D. Perfect. And we haven't moved anything, so we can just drag all this over. And we could check if this works. Let's say the end month was not the last month of the perfect. And these are all zeroed out. Alrighty. Looking good here. Now these costs are functions, remember, of total costs per sub revenue per sub revenue per percentage of direct sales. Now for these, this is a percentage, as you can see. This is actually unused. So what's that? But this percentage, let's see, that's indexing 107. Let me make sure that's right. 107, it's 0.25%. Okay, so that is taking that. Now what we want to do is multiply that index by total subscription revenue, which we want to not mess up. Subscription revenue is right there. So we lock that here. What happened? Oh wait, there. And this is a dollar value. Now let's check this. So $50, our total subscription revenue in this month is that. If we multiply that by the sum of this 49.50, so this should equal that. It does. I just have decimals. Okay. So that looks good. And then for this one, we do, and you could always zero these out if you don't have any costs directly related to these. It's just a catch-all. So here we have revenue, direct sales revenue here times that percentage. And we'll check that as well. Oh. So for this one, what's our total sales here? And I want to multiply that by our percentage to make sure that is good. And this equals this. And let's make sure, because these are the same, what if I change this? Okay, it works. Good. Drag all of this over, and we have now accounted for all of the optionality and flexibility for operating expenses. Let's see, I need a smaller one for this section. So this is cost as percentage of revenues. And wrap the text. All right. So now I have this total gross profit number here. And we'll do sanity checks to make sure, but now we have total operating expenses. We don't need this. And we're getting close to being done with the base logic, and then it's just going to be about formatting, adding the CapEx, adding some startup costs, adding the financial statements, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, all of that stuff, which we will do tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. But this, I want total cost here. And now I can do EBITDA. Go two more down. EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization. And note, remember, we do have some non-cash items in the costs. This direct sales, cost of goods sold is non-cash item. The cash hits here in this row. So we'll have to remember that when we do our final cash flow calculation. But for the purpose of EBITDA, we go gross profit minus these other costs. And that's it. And we could say percentage of revenue. So we have this very, very flexible model here for product as a service. I'm really, really happy about how this is looking. And we're getting close. Ooh, negatives. Now, my assumptions are arbitrary. I've just put in random costs. Let's say zero these out. Just put in 1% for that, and 0.25 is fine. And same for this. But what I've got here, if these were my actual numbers, I'd look at this and say, well, we are not good on our unit economics. So either we've got too much OpEx, or we're not scaling enough subscribers, or we're just not doing enough volume. Maybe we're not charging enough money for our products. Maybe the subscription revenue should be 15, 25, 35 or something. And I'm just kind of quickly doing this just to show you guys, and then, oh, does that work? Well, no, we're still negative, and it's probably, our total OpEx is 90. Yeah, this is still only half. So maybe we ramp up the direct sales. Maybe and we haven't even looked at the cost of goods sold. Well, no, we have looked at cost of goods sold for direct. We haven't looked at the build out cost here for these yet. So that will have to be put in and accounted for in the cash flow. I don't know. What would make sense here? Maybe we spend less on oh, we haven't even put in ads yet. Whew, we got to do that. Well, nope, everyone's going to miss this, but that's okay. I'm just doing it here. So, ads, ads are part of, I'm making sure I didn't account for these anywhere else. It doesn't look like it. So that's going to be part of sales and marketing. So let's make a space in here and put ad spend. And that's just going to be equal to this amount per month. And we want to also note that on here, this is ad spend per month in each year. Yeah, I almost forgot that. So that's definitely important. And I need to make sure that's working. So let's say this ramps up to like 1,200, maybe 12,000. And since this is a recurring subscription revenue, we'll have some metrics here like customer acquisition cost, lifetime value based on the retention rate, all that fun KPI stuff. And we need to say if this is greater than end month here, 0 out. We also need to say start month. If this is less than the start month, then 0. Okay, perfect. So this is good. Again, we are running a loss. Let's just say, let's say these cost a little bit less. How do we look now on that? And still pretty bad. Let's see. So we're clearly in this case, if I just looked at it arbitrarily, we're not scaling enough to cover all these operating expenses that we have in here. Let's put these up to 50. Now let's see what we're looking at. Oh, that's better. And there we get profitable, nice. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to show us getting into a profit. We'll have charts to kind of quantify all these so it's easier to visualize what's happening in all the different sections. And we'll add, so we have to add